Anxiety, more than many other disorders, can actually fly under the radar for a very long time. And we know that it actually isn't detected quickly enough or identified quickly enough in many, many, many cases. And there's a lot of implications to that. For example, we should probably do more screening for anxiety. We should do it in schools, and we should do it in primary care, and we should be aware of it. But one of the, if you think about some of the other disorders, like if your child has really bad ADHD, for example, that's going to likely call attention to itself. Maybe they're going to be disruptive in class. Maybe they're going to be struggling academically, or maybe at home things are going to be really hectic and organization is so hard. But you can have anxiety for a long time without people actually noticing. So what are some signs? One thing that I think, it's not so much that it's overlooked, but that it's misinterpreted. Because many people have a kind of mental image of what an anxious child might look like, right? You close your eyes and imagine an anxious child. What are you imagining? Maybe you're imagining somebody, looking really scared or shy or looking away and cowering in a corner. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of like an anxious person. And that is going to be true for some kids, but it's also not going to be true for other kids. And what I'm really driving at here is that anxiety can manifest in externalizing ways, just like it can manifest in fear and avoidance. And so oftentimes when a child has anxiety, but it manifests, for example, through aggression, through temper tantrums, these things are not easy to always look at and think, oh, that might be anxiety.
Right.
You can talk to children about anything. I really do. I think children are fully capable at age 6 and even younger of having conversations about anxiety. It's a question of choosing words that your child knows, right, that are age appropriate, and approaching it in a child-friendly way. But I see no reason not to have a conversation with a child about anxiety. If you have concern, it's okay to address that. Flexibility is not an easy thing to teach. It's a goal, but it's a hard thing to teach. And the other thing that I think it's important to sort of bear in mind is that repetition and patterns and rules, these things provide a sense of control over the environment, over your life. And the more anxious a person is, whether that's a young child or an adult, the more anxious a person is, the more their need for control tends to grow. I think there's a lot of different ways that we do communicate, in a demanding way. And I want to highlight two in particular that I mean when I say demanding. One is when you are communicating that what your child feels, wants, thinks, or what they experience is either false or unacceptable, right? They don't want to go they don't want to go on the play date. And your reaction is suggesting that either that's not true or it's not okay that they feel that way. And you don't have to be a mean person to fall into this trap. It sounds a little mean, but actually you don't have to be mean at all. Because, for example, when we start, going down the road of, oh, but it's going to be so much fun. You're going to love it, right? It's going to be so great if you just try it. And I get why you would want to say that. And there may even be a time and a moment to say that. But lost in saying that is the idea that actually maybe for this particular kid at this particular moment, it doesn't seem like fun, right? That's not what they're experiencing now. So one kind of demand is when we're not able to acknowledge that this is what they experience and that that's a legitimate way to feel. Maybe you'd love it if they felt differently, but it's a legitimate way to feel because we don't get to choose how we feel.